Hey, Fred. What's going on with her? It's Star Wars Day, baby. Yes, son. We repping live in effect right here on your Blurred channel. Yes, you already know what it is. We are here to discuss your favorite Blurred things, including one of my favorite people in the whole world is here with us, none other than Miss Yvette Nicole Brown. And we're going to talk Star Wars stuff with the young lady as we do. You know what it is. You already know how we do. In addition to a whole bunch of other things that's going on. What else is going on, Vince? You may ask. Well, let's not only about what's going on in the blurred sphere with things like Star Wars, since that new Acolyte trailer, if I'm not mistaken, did just drop like today or like, and they have some inside information on that, so maybe we'll discuss some of that. In addition to that, let's talk about what's going on with Yvette and this new show that she shot called Good Times. There's a lot of opinions out there. Let's just those opinions are. Let's talk about Yvette's humble beginnings and how she started off with the big house to moving on to sitting on the couch and discussing big things with even Denai and Rick and Michonne. I am even going to delve into what may be a nice new future with this lovely young new relationship. But hey, let's digress. There's so much to discuss. I don't even know, man. She even got to go to the White House. For those of y'all that have not been paying attention, because it is an election year, so maybe we can even talk about some of those things that's going on. But for right now, let's just go ahead and stop with the shenanigans and get things started, man. I am your boy, the real Vince Taylor, representing Blurred Culture all day. You already know what it is. Let's do it. And I am joined by none other than Nolly. What's going on, Nolly, in the head house? We got Steph in the head house. We got, Strickland in the house. We even got Michael Lamar in the house. Black Gay Comic Geek is joining us, and none other than the one and only Yvette Nicole Brown is going to come and join us too. So y'all better get ready. Don't go nowhere because we just not getting started. It's the new Blurred Order. Yvette, tell us who's coming in.
Blurred Order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10p wang. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud, but we got no stains. Cold ass ninja with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean, so he always got hoes.
I want to apologize for the N-words we just dropped in the song, but it is what it is. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It is May the 4th, and we are joined by a panel of Star Wars heads in this piece. The main one being YNB in the middle. What's going on, Yvette?
What's up?
Look,
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
she has Grogu from head to toe. Who are you wearing today?
No, I am not. This is Yoda. This is Grogu. There's a
Oh.
Yeah, get it together.
Yoda's on me and
She
behind.
brought out the Lego.
Oh.
Yoda got wrinkles. Grogu doesn't.
Grogu doesn't.
I ain't gonna lie, they look very similar, you know what I'm saying? But nobody knows what race this is, so we just call them the Yodas, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. How's it going, Yvette? You are draped in head to toe. How is your Star Wars day going so far?
You know, it's good. This is the start of it. So this is pretty exciting. It's only 10:15 where I am, 10:13 where I am. So it's still early.
Oh, that's right. She's having a binary sunrise over there on the West Coast. Well, listen, there's so much we have to discuss with you, and we want to thank not only you for joining us, and for those that are watching YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that, make sure you share live. We are going in right now, and I did want to ask you a few things, if I could, Miss Yvette Nicole Brown. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just
Oh, Vince, you going
right
in and
into
out.
it. First
Going
and
in and
foremost,
out. Your
Yeah,
sound is going in and out.
you can hear me?
Yeah, you're lagging.
Yeah,
man.
it's like I don't know. What's your Wi-Fi doing over there? You want to talk about it?
Is that no, is this happening right
I
now?
was like, you
It
pay
is you, yeah.
your bills?
I thought it was me. It's you.
Have you said I love
It's
you to your
'cause-
Wi-Fi lately? Maybe it's still a nigga.
No, he has not.
All right.
He ain't pay his bill this month.
Did I fix it? Can you hear me now?
Make
Can you hear me
sure
now? We
nobody-
good? Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you, but you going in and out a little bit.
Yeah, you're like, oh, and then you go
Yeah,
out.
you're like, hey, I want to ask you
Okay, I know.
questions in the
Bad tie. Okay.
All right.
Some pip names.
I
like that.
totally like light skin
Oh.
Jesus, and I'm here. Stop it. Stop it.
Well, I may have to yield
You
to
just knocked
Jesus
off that last
if my sound.
Yes, I'm about to say.
Okay. Am I okay? Am I still sounding like I'm going in and out?
No.
Because I'll leave.
now,
And,
Right now, you're good.
Wait, so he just froze again.
Oh, yeah,
Is everything in your house off? Is everybody off the Wi-Fi? And is everything?
His daughter Kiki's on that. You know it.
Kiki's on that
I'll tell you
Wi-Fi.
what. I'm gonna trust y'all with the show, and I'm gonna leave and come right back. I want y'all to ask Yvette Nicole one question, and I will see y'all in just a second.
Okay.
Okay. I have one.
Yes.
So, as the only single lady left on the panel,
Or now.
thank you. What would you advise for, somebody almost 40 feeling like, well, damn, it's happening for everybody around me and I'm doing the best I can and I'm still out here on a boat by myself?
Well, first of all, it's a trick to think that time is running out. I posted a clip of me on Wendy Williams from I think 2000, it's either 2015 or 2017. And I sat down to talk about my life and the show I was doing at the time, whatever it was. I think it was Odd Couple. And she kind of blindsided me and was like, yo, you getting old. When you going to find you a man and have some kids? I was like, yo.
Hey.
And so what I realized in that moment is that so many of us are bombarded with questions like that. When are you going to have kids? When are you going to get married? As if there's something that we're choosing to do to keep those things from coming from us. And what I've learned in the time since the 10 years since that time is that it's not in our hands to do. Besides being a decent person and a loving person and cute as a button, as you're all those things, all you can do is live your best life. And when it's time for the man, or people like women, whatever you like, when it's time for that person to show up in your life because you need them to go to the next phase of your life, they will arrive. So if they haven't arrived yet, you have to remind yourself that you don't need them yet. You may want them, but you don't need them yet. At the time you need them, they will show up. So just remember that. And we got to do better with how we talk to people, especially women, because nobody's stopping any 40-something-year-old man asking him when he getting married. They ain't never done it. They never asked him when he's going to have kids. It's never happened. So we have to stop doing that to women, because the thing is, not everybody's going to get married and not everybody wants kids or can have them. So when you ask those questions, it can be very triggering and harmful to people. So just stay out of people's lives like that. If somebody has news to share, they'll share it. And if they want to get in a relationship, they will. And if they haven't yet, that's because they haven't found their person. And you really want to wait until you find your person, because it's rough when you're doing it with the wrong one.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's very true. Because that's something I was just about to say before you brought it up, because it is something that they tie a lot, especially when it comes to Black women and women in general. But they tie your worth to the fact that you have kids. Oh, you don't have kids, you must not be valuable to society.
Right.
It's like, I bring more, you bring more things to the world than, the next, or they're like, oh, how are you going to pass it on? What about your legacy? It's like, my legacy is more than just your kids. Well, your legacy is what you bring to the world.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
So it's like, stop trying to tie a person's value to the fact that they don't have kids. Maybe that person don't want kids because,
or they can have them.
Like when I see kids at Disney World, I'm like, fuck them kids. why they got kids here? I don't want to see kids. Get off. I'm trying to get on the Star Wars ride. Move.
Speak the truth. Speak the truth.
All right. If I may, can you hear me now, by the way?
Yes, you sound great.
Yeah.
You better. Okay, I had to kick some kids out the house, and they was on Wi-Fi and all that. It is what it is now. But I happened to notice that you were discussing relationships and giving Steph some advice. I don't want to get into what happened last time, but I will say that you have definitely come a long way since this time. Yeah. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Wow. You kind of did though. You just did it.
Yeah, he did. No, Vince,
Underline.
You did.
You could have let it pass.
absolutely
You
did.
could have let it go.
You could have not said it.
I did.
That's
what I'm being my authentic self, and you ain't gonna stop.
You said it without saying it, though.
No, he said it. No,
a lot of stuff happened last time we was here, including this Yvette.
I just have to ask this question because I'd be remiss if I go this entire show and don't ask this question, because you are such an amazing woman with a beautiful smile, and I just want to know: are you taking applications? Not for myself. I'm not saying for myself. I'm just saying that there is no reason that all this melanin should just be alone.
I am always accepting applications. The DMs have been open. They dry as hell though. The DMs open. I'll be telling people, if you are a brother and you think that you the man, do it. But this is what I get. I get guys popping in going, Hey, beautiful.
Okay. What's that gonna do for me?
I need, come on, just say hi. My name is John, and I saw you on television. I think you're nice. I live in wherever, and I really think just have a conversation. Like, don't just send me hi and a wave.
He's taking notes. Calm down. Calm down. I saw him looking for it. I saw him looking.
Now,
and may I point out that Bad Ty never hit them DMs.
Oh, dang. Call him out. Call him out.
Didn't hit him.
Listen, no. Bad Ty was very, very clear on not for me. I am happily taken.
Okay. Okay.
But I am glad that you went back to that because someone out there saw that.
Yes, you think
we taking credit?
That's what I was gonna say.
This is the funny thing. When we did that, I was in a friendship with my now fiance. We were literally friends, but he had not, he was still trying to hear from God and see if he was supposed to say something to me in that regard. So I was on my way to where I am now and didn't even know it at the time. So that's why the DMs were dry. God knew. God was like, he's working towards it. Give him a minute. And so, yeah.
And might I say, another thing that you said in this clip was, look, if you are a brother,
I did.
Don't let it be. We saw that part. You know what I'm saying? But one thing you did not make a precondition is your interests. I mean, you basically said, listen, you can just be a nice, decent man. I ain't worried about the money. Just have an interest of your own that you're passionate about, so that you're not all looking at me like, how come you doing good and I ain't? Right. But you never said you also have to like Rick and Michonne.
I did it. And you know what? Listen, I am marrying a non-blurred. His brother Dwight. No, his brother Dwight makes up for it though. His brother Dwight would wipe the floor with all of us. I mean, everybody in here. He would kill all of us with his blurredom. But Tony, no. Tony's a sports guy. He likes basketball and football and that kind of stuff. So he's a dude. Not that blurs aren't, but you know what I'm saying? Like he's like the kind of guy. So I didn't choose a blur, which is kind of shocking to me. But I think I have enough outlets and enough friends that are into all the things that I love in that space that it's okay. And he's helping me understand sports, which I've always wanted to be able to do. So it works out.
Oh, he is. Go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, and that can work both ways. So now you can also get him involved.
Bring him
in because I'm a huge sports guy. I'm a huge sports guy, like huge sports guy, but I'm also a blurred. So the two can exist.
Yep.
Together. That's all I'm saying.
And let me apologize for assuming you were trying to holler, brother. My fault. You took notes, so I thought you were taking notes, but you were taking notes for somebody else. Now I understand that. So my apologies to you and your lady. Yes, huh?
Well, but see, he took those notes and slid them to Tony right quick.
If we go back and watch, he did say it ain't for me, but I'm taking notes.
He did say that. You're right.
I'm taking notes, and listen, I'm not going to lie. It's very exciting to see you not only engaged in a relationship, but like such a loving one. Although I will say, when I look at this picture, there's a lot to unpack. I ain't gonna lie, you look extremely happy, and so does Tony, but somebody in this picture doesn't look as pleased with everything that's going on. And I was just wondering if by chance maybe dog isn't as
No, this is crazy. Harley ain't bothered about me. He's upset that I'm looking at Tony like that. Harley loves Tony. So that is really like, are you gonna share some of that love with me, mommy? That was what that was. He ain't studying me at all. Mm-mm.
Oh,
Tony.
So Harley took into Tony with no
reservations. Tony is there's been two people in my life that Harley has not barked at when he met them. Tony was one and my mother was the other. Everybody else, Harley, at least initially, has been like, who are you? But with Tony, it was almost like he knew him. Tony walked in and Harley was like, oh, hey, what's up? I was like, oh.
Interesting.
And I had warned him. I said, Harley's gonna be barking. He's gonna be crazy. Harley came in and followed Tony around the house, and it was amazing. So I know that's another sign.
They say animals can feel. They do say that, and I believe it. I believe that animals like, because if you go around certain people's animals and they start barking, and pay attention. So the fact that Harley was letting you know, I co-signed.
Absolutely.
To a certain extent, though, because sometimes you be going around white people dogs and they bark at you because they black, because you black, and it's like they taught that dog to be racist. That's what.
Listen. My in-laws' cats are all white, and one of them has yellow eyes. And wherever I am at, she just watches me. She don't let me touch her. She just watches me. So I tell them, she's a Sith Lord. I'm gonna get her one of those little outfits. You know what I'm saying? With like the lightsaber, I'm like, for Halloween, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that shit because that cat is a Sith Lord. There's something wrong with that cat. And it's only me. Like, anywhere I go, she's just watching me with them BDO eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
They know.
The cat's like, I can tell you that the Death Star will be quite operational when your friends arrive.
I see him. I see Lord Sidious just like, I'm going to blow this bitch up. Just watch. Like, I see it.
I am curious though, Yvette, without getting too deep. I know there's definitely a lot of personal stuff here, but if you will, after we had this conversation with you last year, and you were still dealing with the courtship, if you will, with you and Tony, not to, like I said, get into the logistics, but it sounds like shortly thereafter there was an agement to pursue.
Do you remember when we were on? When were we?
It was like last March. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that was right before it happened. I think I saw him in New York later in March. Either I had just seen him when I did the show, or I saw him after, and that was when we started talking every day. And I think by April of last year is the first time we had a date that we didn't know was a date. So every time I went to New York, I was promoting a lot of shows. So every time I went to New York, I would just call my friend Tony, like, you want to hang out? And so we had gone to, I just talked about this show on Curtis Stone, this on Curtis Stone's show, but we went to a play to see Marcel Spears, who's on The Neighborhood and was on The Mayor with me. We went to see him in Fat Ham. And that was the first time he and I both felt like, wait a minute. And so from April on, it was on. And then by October, we got engaged. We announced it in December, but we got engaged in October.
Now,
we had been talking for like 2 years, like a year and a half by the time I was on the show last year. But it's friends.
Okay, so it was almost like a precursor to the relationship. Like, you all were in a relationship before you were in a relationship. So yeah, you can speak to that too a little bit. Yes, no, other about that. So let me ask you this. Yeah. When it comes to us normies, us folks that don't necessarily get a chance to go on The View to make our announcements, we usually make the IG reveal. Remember, like the IG reveal, like we've had, Steph's had a couple IG reveals. Sorry, Steph, but they've been public.
Actually,
what is going on with Steph today?
Hey,
you better leave my friend alone. I ain't playing with you, Vince.
It's public record.
One time, Vince. One time. Public. And it's archived. It's not there anymore. Okay. I am not a habitual hard launcher. I've done it once in my entire life.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. She's made one IG reveal, but your IG reveal, as I stated, wasn't an IG reveal, so to speak, even though it was a public, in front of everybody reveal. Now, I'm wondering, what was the discussion had with you and Tony before you're actually making the decision to call back the producers and say, yes, I will be on the show. As a matter of fact, I will also announce my engagement. Does Tony say, whoa, hold on, man, I ain't trying to do all that? Or is he like, yeah, baby, it's time.
This is funny. We didn't know if we were ever going to actually announce it. I was wearing my ring. I wasn't hiding it, but I didn't, I'm not a real public person, so I didn't think I needed to do, and nobody cared who I was dating. It just didn't feel like it was anything anybody cared about. No, really. So the only reason we did it there and then is that I was going to be on The View. They asked me to come and guest co-host because someone was out and Joy was out. And I knew I'd be wearing my ring. And these are journalists, like Sonny, my soror Sonny was sitting next to me. There's no way Sonny was not going to mention the ring on my finger. And so I didn't want it to be, I didn't want to not wear the ring. I didn't want to lie to them about not being engaged. So I'm like, I'm going to be there with the ring on. I should say it. So I called Brian Tetta, who's their producer, a wonderful friend of mine. And I said, Brian, I have some news that maybe we could announce there. And he was like, well, what's the news? And I told him, he said, absolutely. So then it became its own segment, but it was not, I didn't go on The View to announce that I was engaged. And Tony's from the Bronx. So whenever I go to New York, he's like, yo, I'm gonna go with you. I want to see my family and stuff. So he was going to be there anyway. So it was like, let's tell everybody on The View.
That's beautiful.
And what were his, like, Tony doesn't strike me. I don't know him, obviously. He's clearly a renowned, great actor. We want him to get his his flowers while he's with you. But like, how does he, respond to like the newfound notoriety? I don't want to make it sound like he wasn't doing anything before, but
but he hadn't been in the industry for 20 years. So he really is coming back into the industry. So he was like a regular guy living in New York. He was raising a family. He's, like I said, he's divorced. He was married. So he was raising his family and just a regular guy. So it's been like getting shot out of a cannon, doing red carpets and interviews. And he went back to our old church in LA because we met in church out here. And one of our friends, Kente Scott, is an amazing comedian. And he was performing at the church, emceeing at the church. And Tony went down to watch Kente, see Kente for the first time in however long. And somebody at the church was like, I think that's Yvette's fiance. And Tony was like, what is happening? Like, he just didn't. He's such a private, he's a regular guy. And he's like, what's happening? And I said, well, baby, you got to get ready because once you start getting back into acting, which he's booked 2 roles already since he got back in, he's going to be on the Upshaws and he's going to be on Family Business New Orleans. So he's killing it already. So I said, you better get ready because this is what it is. This is what it is.
Pull up. Don't let me speak over anybody. If anybody else has anything else to say, go ahead, Ty.
I was just going to say, I'm curious, what was it about Tony that really stood out, to you? And was it his personality? Was it his consistency? Like, what was it that really made you be like, you know what? He's the one. Like, for sure.
He was very kind. And it's rough out here. Everybody can attest. It's rough for men. It's rough for women. There's so many people sending their representatives on dates, and so you might find someone that's really nice, and then a couple of months later, you find out that they're really not a kind person, or you'll find out that they're a liar, or they're not faithful. Like there's a lot of tricksters out there, and I knew for one that if he can do 25 years married, he's someone that can go the long haul, which was beautiful. But he was consistent. He's a God-fearing man. He's an ordained minister as well. So I needed someone that loved the Lord. So he loves the Lord, and he's a praying man, and he knows his word, and he's funny. He's silly and funny like me. We have the same level of foolishness within us. And he's my best friend. Like it's like getting to hang out with your best friend all the time. And that's something that I hadn't found with anyone else. Like I just didn't trust anyone like I trusted him. I don't believe anyone. I didn't believe anyone the way I believed him. Like he's just a solid human being. And the thing is, that's how everyone should feel about the person that they're with. This is not magical for Tony. It's magical for Tony, for me. But everybody who finds their person, it should feel like that. It should feel like you found your best friend and someone that you can have like a playmate. See, Lisa, Tony is funny. Oh yeah, people have seen our Instagram lives. He's a funny dude. Thank you, Lisa.
We hope to see that too. Go ahead, Steph. Sorry.
I would love to hear your thoughts as a powerful, incredibly successful woman who's been in this industry for 20 years and is now in love with the man who's returning to that industry. How do you balance your relationship and your individual successes without it turning into a competition and without egos getting complicated? Because that's something that I'm still trying to figure out how to manage as a woman who's very ambitious myself, how to find a very powerful, masculine Black man who is not intimidated by me and how to manage his ego. So how is it that you two do that?
Well, here's the thing, Steph. If he's a powerful, masculine man, he won't be intimidated by you.
Period.
So if you're meeting men that have a problem with career, right? Michael knows. If you're meeting someone that has a problem with you having a career, or someone that doesn't want you to shine, then that means he's not as powerful and masculine as he's pretending to be. Anyone, and it's not even really a male or female thing. Confident people are not afraid of other confident people. Talented people are not afraid of other talented people. So if someone really knows their own worth, they will celebrate the worth in you. Right. So I want Tony to win. I want Tony to shine. I'm trying to retire. So I'm using everything I can, everything that I know about the business to push on him. Like I'm like the best manager he's ever going to have because I know this business. I know the people in this business, and I'm putting him up on game so that his rise will be quicker than my rise was. And that's what I want for him. I want him to eclipse me. And he has no problem that I'm doing more than him right now because he believes in himself and knows that he's going to meet me or surpass me, and I'm going to celebrate him when he does it. So we're in that good place. But that's how it is with friends. Remember, What about your friends? If you have friends in your life, you want your girls to win, right? You're not looking at your friends going, why she get this? You're like, baby, go. That's the way it is. So you marry someone that is also your friend, so you guys can root for each other in the same way. So that's all that is. So if the guy is not for you, he ain't for you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Come on now, guy.
Hey.
Hold on, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, friends want our friends to succeed, but I be hating on Michael when I be seeing him at the Disney joints, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I be like, why I can't be? I be like, yo, where my invite, bro? You know what I'm saying? Oh, here's me with Kevin Feige. Here's me with.
Okay, one day. But I'm not gonna hold you though. Like when I looked at some of the black creators that they had at that, I was like, why am I like 2 million followers, 8 million followers, getting branded? I was like, why am I here? Like, I don't even like.
Because you matter too. And your space is important. That's why everybody there was supposed to be there.
Thank you, man. What we ain't gonna do is self-deprecation here.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, we don't allow that for the black folks up in here, homeboy. Sorry, it is what it is. But I am curious, since we did bring that up, with you and Tony not being equilibrium with regard to your quote unquote interests, at least in this realm. What do you think is going to be the first thing you try to bring them into your blurred ship with? What's the intro tool?
I already started with Walking Dead. I already started with Walking Dead.
I knew it. I already knew it.
Because I mean, first of all, everybody knows I love it. I think with the Star Wars world, it's going to take him longer to catch up. And again, if his brother Dwight didn't get him into it, I don't know that I have the power. I got the force in me, but it ain't that strong. So I don't think I can bring him into Star Wars. He's gotten out of it what he can get out of it, but you either love it or you don't. And if he hasn't grabbed it as a kid, it's probably not going to happen. But The Walking Dead, I can still get him because he likes dramas. He's into stuff like that. And he's not squeamish about zombies and walkers, so he can do that. So he watched The Ones Who Live with Me and loved it. And he was asking questions. Like I was pausing the show. He's like, well, who is she and how are they connected and were they married? Like, so now I'm being able to kind of get him in that way. And then we can start a rewatch of all of Walking Dead together and it's going to be fine. Hey, there's
yeah, you better bring him into the fold. So you think that The Walking Dead? Oh, go ahead, Ty. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to double down on what Yvette said because my wife also was not into any of this. She wasn't. But one of the things that I've learned is proximity is a strong tool. When I'm watching something and she just wants to spend time with me. She's going to invest in the same things that she realizes that I enjoy. And so Tony, just like you're taking that step into the sports realm because he enjoys it. It's the same thing. Again, y'all, teamwork makes the dream work. Once you realize that you are a team, it is not an opposition type relation. This is all about unification. So I think Tony eventually, especially and let's be honest, The Ones That Live is a really good series.
It's a good show.
It's a really good show, man. So,
and that's the thing I'll say like a lot when it comes to like relationships. Like what makes relationships work is that push and pull, not and learning from each other. Like if you both like the same things, like that can make it stronger. But also at the same time, like you mentioned, he's into sports. You're not really into sports, so that's something that he can teach you. You can teach him about blurredom and all that, and it's about experiencing those things together. And there's nothing like experiencing something that you've already experienced, but getting to watch that other person experience it for the first time. Right. That is like a joy and a core memory that you can live together. But it kind of makes me think of a question that I kind of wanted to ask you, Yvette, in terms of like how far does your blurredom extend? Like, are you also into anime? And if you are, what would you say would be like your starter anime that you would want to show to him?
The weakest part of my fandom is probably comics and anime. I loved comics when I was a kid, but as I got older, I just moved on from that. So I have love from back in the day, but anime completely missed me. And now I can understand the beauty of it. When I did Community, we did a foosball episode, and it went into an anime sequence that I thought was amazing. So I understand the art form, and I think it's amazing. But that's not my space. And if you know something that I should dig into to get more into it, I would love that, Michael, because I feel like, first of all, I don't judge other blurs based on what they like. Like some people like Star Trek, some people like Star Wars, some people like both. Some people are into comics, some people are in graphic novels. Like so it's everybody's blurredom is different. We have different touch tones that we all agree on, right? But then there's little things that each person likes that's specific to them. So I don't judge anybody for it, but I do wish I knew more about it because it's such a big part of what we all love as a group. So yeah.
Okay, I can
May I make a
anime for you?
Yes. Okay, give me up. Give me up.
Which one do you recommend, Michael?
I was gonna say Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Those are some good starter animes.
No,
especially if you like The Walking Dead.
I was gonna say Blue-Eyed Samurai.
Wait, no. Then let me forgive. I watched Blue-Eyed Samurai and loved it. I don't know why.
Thank you.
That's good.
I'm crazy. I didn't even think of it as anime. I love Blue-Eyed Samurai. I loved it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am
another one. Let me throw another one in the mix real quick before Yaz comes in. And I do agree that Full Metal Alchemist is definitely way better than the live action, Michael. We can get into that another show. But Star Wars Visions, there's actually an anime for Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? And it's on Disney Plus. And it's not it doesn't actually even coincide. Of course, it's got the canon involved, you know, the Force and the dark side and all of that. But it's not about Luke and Leia and Anakin. It even has Black-centric characters that some of the themes are for. So just as an introduction to yes. So I would highly recommend. There's 2 seasons, and they're not like long, hour-long episodes. They're like 15 minutes. Some of them I think are 10 minutes. I think some of them are even shorter than that.
Keeping this list to text me with everything they didn't say.
Yeah, you already know.
Please, but you know, I ain't taking no notes right now. The note taker is not. I'll put this down. So I definitely agree with Michael. But I just don't want you to get so like, because the world of anime is so vast. Like, I don't want you to get like, oh my god, 100 episodes and be like, I don't know. You know, the Star Wars Visions joints. I think it's 6 to 12 episodes. Anyway, go ahead. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy.
No, I was gonna say that like I love that you know, you guys are, you know, have polar opposites, but you know, obviously, you know, best friends attract, you know what I'm saying? I married my best friend. So I mean I completely understand that. So I think it's like super funny that, you know, you're gonna try and, you know, integrate him and vice versa, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big metalhead. Like I'll listen to some rock music and stuff like that, but like the super screamo type music and like really, you know, hardcore, I'm not into. But my husband, oh man, this guy, I'm telling you, I have guitars and amps all over my house because he used to be in a heavy metal band, and like as like a young teenager, and he still is trying to get another one started. And it's super funny because like every time the music's on, I go into the other room, or you know, I put my headphones on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh gosh, that music is on again. You know what I'm saying? I'm like making a face, and he just loves the face because he knows it's like it's on, and I'll let him listen to whatever, but I'll just go into the other room quietly. You know what I'm saying? And he'll be like, don't leave, I miss you. And I'm like, well, gotta shut that off. I'm not listening to that. But I'm not gonna lie, I did take him. His favorite band since he was 10 years old was Pantera, and I took him to go to Rockville to go see Pantera live.
That's a good wife.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and this was before we even got married. I found out they were coming to Daytona, and I was like, yo, this is a one in a lifetime opportunity for him. I'm not gonna let him miss this. So I took him, and I'm not gonna lie, that whole day was filled with like lots of headaches for 12 hours and like, you know, weird looks and uncomfortability. But hey, at the end of the day, you know who my favorite person was? Alice Cooper.
Really?
Oh wow.
Amazing. I'm talking about, if you get the opportunity, go see that man live. He is so old and he's not.
Is he still alive?
Dude, he did like 6 outfit changes. He carried his wife's head like around and kicked it.
I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah,
You lost me at that.
He does where he like, I don't know, he like does this crazy thing where he like chops his wife's head off or something like that, and he like carries it around like one of. It's really really cool. Like it's a whole like she's a Victorian like lady, and she comes. It's actually like it was weird, but it was super fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. 80 years old, this man did 6 outfit changes in an hour.
Yeah.
So Walking Dead.
I mean, it's a good segue. Can I also point out that I have had these headphones on, and only when Yaz started talking did I realize that the sound is coming out of my computer because I changed it. So I'm going to take these off.
But it looks good. You were the only one with headphones, but it looked very professional.
I literally put them on earlier to check things, and then didn't. Okay, I'm not just gonna take them off and not tell you. I believe in sharing my foolishness. Yeah.
I thought those were your space buns, like I
mean, I kind of look like Leia. I look like
Leia.
Leia a little bit, but no, that was just me being a dumbass. But okay.
Nah, not at all. Well, yes, I'm glad that you had that experience. I do have more questions about Tony, but I don't think you want to talk about Tony. I'm curious about how you ingest also when he tries to put you on the basketball and all that. But we'll save that for another day. I think you've given him enough time. I am curious though, because you said that Star Wars isn't something that you'd put him on to. Is it because your Star Wars nerddom goes so deep? Like, dare I say, like you have even toys in your house that represent your Star Wars fandom? Like, come on, pull up, Brad. Come on, man. Let me see the R2.
My mom would be so proud of all your Lego.
What else we got? What we got? We got the baby Yoda. I'm sorry, the Grogu in the house. The Lego. Did you make that?
I did. I made both of them. But you guys, everybody knows that I'm a Lego nerd as well. So I love. Yeah. I have so many Star Wars pieces, but these were the two that I thought were most impressive, especially this R2. This was the hardest thing I ever built because I started it too early in my Lego journey. I didn't really understand that this was one of the hardest builds.
Yes, ma'am.
And I literally was like, I'm going to do R2 because R2 and Yoda are my two favorite characters. And I played myself.
You went to extreme real quick.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't want to call you out, but I happen to be a connoisseur of Star Wars stuff myself. You know what I'm saying? So we can go back and forth.
What did you say?
Okay. I didn't know yet. Okay, I didn't know we were doing a lightsaber. Okay, hold on. Let me find out. I can see your Schwartz is as big as mine, Michael. Okay. Is that what we doing? Oh, my bad.
This ain't a game. This ain't a game. What are you doing?
It's rainbow colored.
What do you think you're doing?
She said, "I ain't into
that." I got a couple of them too. This booth is only so big. Don't play with me.
And we bring Star Wars to the Bronx. We gonna have a lightsaber battle in the middle of the Bronx.
I will get on the L train with my red lightsaber and cut somebody out. I ain't gonna lie. So with all of your Star Wars fandom, I'm wondering, since we last talked, a couple things have come out. We had a chance to get a watch of the Ahsoka Tano show. Before you came, we were talking about the prospects of it and how it was going to be and what we were anticipating. You've had a chance to watch it now. What are your thoughts?
Be nice.
I loved it. What do you mean be nice? Y'all be thinking I'm going nice. I love it. You didn't love it, right? Y'all didn't love it?
Listen. Let me tell you something that when we went over the reviews of this, I made it my business to not say anything bad about our look. I couldn't. I was like, I can't say anything bad, but I can't say anything good.
Wow. Ty, tell him what Ty was a lot.
It was a lot. It was a lot. And but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
We've heard Ty's opinion multiple times. We're familiar with it.
Yeah.
We haven't heard as yours. Yvette, what's your thoughts?
I loved it, but we had this conversation last time we talked about Star Wars. Like I take the ride. I'm a different type of nerd. Like I'm not very opinionated. I have if it is true to the world, and I love what they do with the character, and I feel like it broadens the story in a way that I didn't expect. I take the ride. So I that breaks my heart that you hated it. It appears you hated it.
Oh man, I don't think he hated it.
I've never said those words. Have never come out of my mouth.
But
listen, my mother always told me, if you don't have anything good to say, just be quiet.
So you feel like it didn't? Do you feel like it didn't live up to the animated series or the Is that your issue? Do you feel like it wasn't as great? What do you feel? Not to get you into something you don't want to talk about, but it seems like she's so troubled. I don't want you to be troubled.
Because I love her. I really do love her as an actress, and I never want to, like, when it comes to people that I admire. Yes, and I never want to badmouth any projects or anything because I want them to get more opportunities and more projects.
Right.
I think this wasn't even really her fault. This was more the writing, and also the visuals for me were very, very bad. When it came to what we were able to get in just the Mandalorian series alone with the Ahsoka visuals, it far paled to what we saw and what the expectation had become because of what we saw.
Okay.
Once we got the Ahsoka series, and I was like, hold up, you know, like we're getting lightsaber battles, but they look like this. Like what's
so yours is more of a technical look of the show. Well, you said you said the right. Okay, I don't want to go down.
Yeah, we won't. Yeah, okay. Dave Filoni needs some help when it comes to.
Well, look, all right, look, we didn't. All right, we don't want to come on here and pile on to Disney after we love you, Disney, and Dave Filoni. We appreciate what you're trying to do.
But back about what you loved about it.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on. Let's move on. The Acolyte.
Let me say this because we don't all feel like Ty. Okay, Ty is Dad Ty is his name for a reason. Okay, so we don't all hate it. I do think that Dave Filoni did set the bar really high for Ahsoka, which ultimately I know I think you may not be as immersed in the animated series, but it was essentially a continuation of the show The Rebels. And when you watch The Rebels, oh man, that is fire. That writing, and that's all Dave Filoni. And I'm trying to convert that same element into a live action. It's a difficult thing to do. So
was it jarring for you guys to go from Ashley to Rosario?
Not me. No, absolutely not. I respect Ashley. The voice she gave Ahsoka is always going to go down in history as giving Ahsoka, who was a non-character, a complete role. You know what I'm saying? She was literally just a Padawan on the side. And because Ashley gave her such a good voice, she became like the main feat of the Star Wars Clone Wars saga. And as a result, we get to see her live action. It's just unfortunate that the live action has to come after seeing such dope shows like The Rebels, and it's hard to follow an animated series. Point blank period. What's up,
Michael Winston?
I was gonna say I loved Ahsoka overall. My biggest criticism regarding the show is that they named the show Ahsoka, but like Vince said, it didn't feel like an Ahsoka show. Like you didn't really learn anything about Ahsoka that we didn't already know. Yeah. It just felt like a Rebels season 3, and so I feel like they should have focused more on her. Like I want to know more about her character. Not she's always like, "Where's Ezra?" It's like if you didn't watch Rebels, you don't really know what's really going on. Like I want to learn more about her backstory, where she came from, and everything like that. What's been going on with her, and not a continuation of Rebels. So that was my biggest criticism. But what they did give us, I enjoyed.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. What's up,
Like the whole going, to the what's the planet where the Dark Sisters are? I keep forgetting what the name of that planet is called.
Dathomir.
Okay, so going to Dathomir, I mean, I thought that was like really, you know what I'm saying? Like that part was really cool. The whole seven sisters, you know what I'm saying? Like the witches. I thought that was like really, really cool. And like I was glad that we got to see and kind of like understand that world a little bit. And now we still have that like sister, you know what I'm saying? Like in the future. So that's pretty cool because we get to learn more about her world and how she's trying to bring them back and everything. But I agree with you guys, but at the same point in time, I feel like Rosario was a little dry. Like compared to Ahsoka in Rebels, she was more dry. You know what I'm saying? Which, I mean, obviously as an adult, she became more dry, but I'm just saying, like, I just feel like even with her sarcasm, her body language, like she was just super dry. And like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best. I don't know.
I want to come out and just defend Yvette Nicole Brown for not having any opinion in this because that's her homegirl. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't want to sit there talk. She's like, all right, Rosario, that's like my girl, and they're like going in on this show.
I love Rosario Dawson. I've seen her. I've seen her in Kids. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, I know. We all love Rosario.
It's her first movie.
Yeah, it's her first movie. I've seen her in Kids when she first started. I'm just saying, I love her. Like she's my it girl and everything. I'm just saying, but.
We love Rosario. Just as a point for those watching, if we're wondering why we might not get any commentary from Y&V on this.
I gave it. I said I like the show. So
But she's not gonna speak on Rosario Dawson.
Never. I don't do that about any actor though. Like I just don't believe in doing that. I think everybody is doing the best that they can. And there's a lot of things that happen on a set that affect the way an actor comes across. It's the direction. It's just a lot of stuff, how they're edited. There's more things than just them coming to set and deciding to do it a certain way. So I think it's hard to, it's kind of hard to speak on that as a fellow actor because I know how difficult it is. So
I got you.
Agreed. And well, in the spirit of that, and speaking of the Star Wars Ahsoka series, there were other series as well. And I'm kind of just curious because we did get a chance to get your hierarchy. We learned last time, pop quiz, who can remember what Yvette Nicole's favorite Star Wars movie was? Who can remember?
It was my favorite Star Wars movie. It was
huh?
Was it Attack of the Clones?
Come on.
I gave a couple, I believe.
I was gonna say she did give a couple of them.
Attack of the Clones was what she said was her favorite, but she said that ultimately she was really into the prequels.
Well, I didn't say. Wait a minute. I said I didn't hate the prequels. My favorite Star Wars film, if I have to say, like of all of them, it's A New Hope. Like I love A New Hope. That's the one. But I didn't hate Attack of the Clones. I thought it was great to see how it. I'll be trying to get me in a trick bag. Y'all ain't gonna happen.
We'll go to the tape. We can Stephen A. Smith it, and we'll go to the tape. But this is a bad segue just to kind of get us to talk about the other shows. So Ahsoka was one. What are your thoughts on the Mandalorian most recent?
I love the Mandalorian so much.
Season?
I love it.
I was watching your Twitter feed when you were finally getting into it. I know you said on your Twitter, this is what you said, that you were coming to it a little late, but you were like, "Whoa, I was not ready." What's your thoughts on the Mandalorian?
I mean,
series?
this is what people. I think what people forget that is I am a full-time caregiver for an 81-year-old with dementia. So there's a lot of things I can do and a lot of things I can't. So sometimes when the release date hits, I can't get there right then. Besides Daddy, it's also work and now Tony. So sometimes things have to take a back seat. But when I finally got in, I was glad I was late because I could start binging. I didn't have, because I think when it came out, wasn't it every week? So I had at least 4 or 5 episodes that I could just watch back to back. So when I got in, I was ready to go. I just thought it looked different than anything we had ever seen. The fact that we found out later there was screens and they weren't actually in any of these places. And I just thought Pedro was just amazing. And by the time Luke showed up, I was, it just was great. It was so great. I loved it so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about, do you have any thoughts on where it is now? Because there are some thoughts on Mandalorian kind of, and I say this with respect because we want Mandalorian to continue and succeed, but on its gradual losing the did you feel the same way after watching season 3 that you did after watching season 1 is the question.
I will say this, my favorite version of Mandalorian is him and the child alone in that ship having experiences. I know that they have to broaden out the world because Pedro, I think he was going to do The Last of Us at some point, or he did it in between. I can't remember when he shot it. So we can't have him. And even though he may not be in the suit ever, and it's mostly probably voiceover, you still need to find time to get him in the booth to do that. So I understand why. And, the other thing that people don't think about with actors is there's different deals that people make, as to when you can have them, how long you can have them and all of that. And so he might have a deal that says you get, 5 days out of a season, and maybe they can't make the show with the amount of time. And I'm just making that up. I don't know what his deal is. So I understand why it couldn't be him and the child forever. But that's my favorite version of The Mandalorian. That doesn't mean I don't like how it grew and expanded. I just prefer the two of them out in the galaxy, far, far away, having adventures.
Oh yeah.
But isn't that kind of what Star Wars is? I mean, like, it's such an expansive universe. You want growth, right? You want character development. You want to be able to build off of some of these projects. And I think Mandalorian, I mean, you were able to get Ahsoka out of that. You're able to get a movie. An upcoming movie is already on the docket to come from that. So anytime you have those different platforms, you want the writers and the directors to understand that this is not just about a character. Even though it's the title of the series is Mandalorian, this is about Grogu. This is about all of the new characters that come in.
Absolutely. And so I'm not in any way saying that I don't enjoy the new characters and whatever, but I'm saying if I have to pick when I was like, this is my jam, I just really liked seeing the two of them in the ship. That's just me, and so I've enjoyed everywhere they've gone together. I've enjoyed how it has expanded. I've enjoyed all the new people we've met. I love Giancarlo Esposito's turn in the show, and
yes,
Carl Weathers, may he rest in peace. Like, I think there were so many wonderful things that came from that show and will continue to come from that show. But you asked me what I liked, and I told you what I liked.
There you go.
And that's what we want. Thank you. So speaking of that, there was another show, last one. Did you get a chance to watch Andor, which was one of the most well-renowned shows of the Star Wars series?
Andor. You know, I really love that. I love that we got to see these characters because they were supposed to be a one-off. And so I love that we got to go back and see how it all came together. And I think it was probably one of the best acted of the Star Wars shows. I felt that the character development was great. I felt the turns were great. Like, I think each Star Wars show has its own vibe and feel. So you could imagine that some of them are more comical. Some of them are more Muppet-like, if you will. Like, I feel like Mandalorian has a lot of Muppet type. With Grogu, there's Muppet stuff in it to me. It feels warm and fuzzy in a way. Some of them are hard dramas. Some of them are thrillers, you know, so each one has its own thing. Like, I really loved Obi-Wan. I thought it was, I wish we could get more. And I don't know if we're going to get more of it, but even as just a standalone series, I thought it was just perfection. It was one of my favorites. So, you know, I like each of them for different things. I really think I'm going to love the Acolyte. Like, you had Carrie-Ann Moss and Amandla and battling it out and just getting to see more of how the dark side emerges, I think is pretty interesting. I'm not a fan of the dark side. That's not my jam. I'm Jedi Force. I'm over there. But I am interested in how someone could have a choice between good and evil and choose evil. I know we're watching it play out in the government right now. There's people making the choice to choose darkness every single day. We know it comes from ego and the quest for personal power and it's ego. It's all the things that we learned as kids watching A New Hope, that, you know, when you focus on ego and hurt and pain and grievances, it leads you to the dark side. You know, so we see how it plays out, but to watch it play out amongst the Jedi, how that broke off is going to be so interesting to watch.
Why don't I get to see Yvette Nicole Brown in a Star Wars? Why hasn't that happened yet? Like, what do I have to write? I know you were in the Lego. I know you were in the Lego joint.
Yes,
but
live
action, come on.
I talked to, after, I don't know if you saw this, Michael, but Michael saw me. I was hosting something for Disney last week, and Acolyte was one of the shows we debuted, and we can talk about it now because it was embargoed until today. But you see me, I hit up the director. I was like, Rain, yo. I was like, why don't you let a girl in? Let me get up in there. So I am always petitioning to get in a Star Wars, something for Star Wars. They'll call one day. I have faith that one day I'll get the call.
Star Wars, what is wrong with you? All right, tighten
It'll
up.
be perfect.
I'll say it for you, Michael, come on in here. Come on, yeah, Mr. Michael, Mr. Disney, whatever, Igor, what's on, man? What girl thing? What else you need to know, bro? Come on, tighten up, Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. You go ahead and say something else.
I know. I was gonna say it'll be perfect for the Acolyte, because the one thing I liked about the Acolyte, especially like the trailer that we saw and everything like that, like this is the one Star Wars we see a lot of black people in it. Like, when you think about Star Wars, you got Mace Windu, who I'm dressed up as right now, and then you also got Finn. But even when it comes to black people,
Lando.
Lando. But I was specifically talking about like Jedi.
Reva.
I was gonna say you have the guy that saved Grogu. What was his name?
Kelleran Beck.
Yep. By Abed Best, who played Jar Jar
Abed Best, who hopefully hears us and answers my emails. Ahmed answers
his emails.
You know,
yeah. But I'm glad we get to see like more black Jedi or Force users.
True.
I would love that. Honestly, I hope if they ever call me that I get to be a Jedi.
Yeah, let me see you use the dark side.
Yeah, no,
I don't want. What would be your color lightsaber, Yvette?
Say what?
What would be your color lightsaber?
Well, I have a green one now. Yeah, I have green now, but
green now.
Yeah, probably white.
I want yellow. I want mine to be yellow.
Everything but the dark.
I don't play with the. I don't play with the dark in my life. I don't play with it in what I watch. I just don't. I don't dabble in that mess.
Yeah, I saw her commentary on, I think it was, I forgot whose performance it was. I think it was somebody's performance, and I think a devil came on and you was like, no.
I see that, man. I don't know. Listen, I don't even mess around with supernatural TV shows and movies, because I don't know what y'all done prayed over, and they doing these little incantations. I don't know if you done got it from a book that really is real. So I don't play with that mess. Y'all gone.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, listen, we're looking forward to Acolyte. We may even, if we have time, those of y'all that are watching, by the way, Ty, in a second, we might need you to do a shout out. But for those watching, we may do a trailer at the end of the show if we have time. But for right now, we're having such a good time talking with Miss Yvette Nicole Brown.
Segues. Segues in 2024. They're doing it. They're doing it.
I figured we could talk about some of Miss Yvette Nicole Brown's good times. One of which is a project that she spoke on, that she recently did the voice for. And I'm not going to lie, Miss Yvette Nicole Brown, this is a project that had a lot of people in their feelings. And I, for one, and I think Stephanie and I are in the same camp. I'm of the belief of before you just go out and start speaking your mind on things you don't have knowledge of, perhaps maybe give it a watch. Give it a look. Maybe before you just fly off the handle about a trailer. Perhaps you maybe at least give it an opportunity. Steph, did you have more to add to that?
I did. I mean, if you've been on our page, you've seen I had like a 2-minute reel about it. But I will say just knowing your character, Miss Yvette, and knowing your history and seeing the work that you've done and hearing the things that you've said and just being aware of your commitment to Black people, you are one of those folks who, when I hear something said about you, I'm like, okay, there's obviously more to this story than has been told. There are some people who, if someone's like, oh, Sheila smacked somebody and was cussing them out on Front Street, I'm like, oh, that's bad. But if someone's like, your sister smacked someone and was cussing them out, I'm like, well, what did they do to deserve it? Obviously, he had a reason. So what I immediately was like, what do we not know about this project? What is the message in here? What else is there to see? Because I know that whatever people have garnered from just a 2-minute trailer cannot be the full picture, because I am confident that anything you're involved in is going to ultimately be a love letter to Black people.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to actually like really dive in and see, okay, there is so much more to this than people popped off about without actually exploring the project. And I would just love to hear your thoughts about it. What drew you to it? What got you excited about it? And then I want to talk more about Black people being tied to the white gaze in choosing projects, and how much I love that you made a choice to do something for the culture, from the culture, without your first concern being, but how are white folks going to take it?
Steph.
First of all, this is the first time I've tweeted about it. You guys have been on my page. I've been so just, the word I would use is disgusted with the way we all were treated after that trailer. Me, Marseille Martin, Jay Farrell, JB Smooth, Cree Summer, Tisha Campbell, Afion Crockett does a voice on this show. Renata Shepard is our showrunner. Allison Faust, who created Act Your Age, which is a testament to Black excellence and Black women who are shining and thriving and all of that. All of us were a part of Good Times. And you have to ask yourself, all of these people who have done quality work and who love us all these years, we just all lost our minds. We just all went crazy. You know, the point of the show, which I said from the beginning, it's an adult cartoon, which means if you watch anything on Adult Swim or you watch Family Guy or even The Simpsons, there are going to be things in there that are shocking or upsetting or irreverent. That is where the bar is for adult cartoons. If you don't meet that bar, you're on Disney Channel in the afternoon. So there's kids animated shows and then there's adult animated shows. So there's certain things that have to be a part of it. So there are exaggerated images of a lot of things that happen in Black communities and other communities, right? So once you push that aside, then you have to ask yourself, what are they trying to say by showing this imagery? Where are they trying to take us? And what I said to people from the beginning is, this is not a 2-minute trailer show. This is not a 2-episode show. This is a 10-episode story. And if you watch the entire 10 episodes, you will understand that we're coming for the systems that cause the issues in our communities. We are not coming for us. It is a love letter to us and how sometimes we are put in horrible circumstances and we have to fight. The whole original Good Time said scratching and surviving. Why are we scratching and surviving? What is in place in our communities that cause us to have to scratch and survive? Can you watch the show and see us show you? And the thing about the baby, can we talk about the baby? There is no crack dealing baby or opiate dealing baby in America. So this is not a documentary, but the baby is a totem. It's a totem. He's a totem for the children and the family members in your life that are discardable because they're gay, because they're trans, because they're selling drugs, because they're using drugs. So you're telling me there's nobody in your family that society said you should toss away? And what do mothers do? They love them anyway. And they hope for the best. And there are people in this family that are 100% against what the baby's doing. The father on the show won't even let the baby come in the house. But y'all didn't stay long enough to see that.
Right.
Don't think we sitting here saying, go sell drugs, babies. How is that even possible? It's an exaggerated thing to show what is going on in our communities. And if we had made Junior the drug dealer, then come for us.
Right.
We chose the one that can never happen.
Right.
But we still get to show what happens when someone is dealing drugs in the neighborhood, when someone has chosen money and power over their own people. What does that look like and what does it cause? And then we also have Marseille on there fighting against it. I remember Denzel Washington said once, he said, I will pay a character that people don't like or that is considered negative if that person there's a comeuppance for that person or the person learns the error of their ways. So there has to be a lesson or a story or a reason or a message. Good Times has all of those things. And if you would watch them 10 episodes, just watch them. Watch them or shut up. Shut up. There are people that literally said the things that they've said about my character. I'm like, you haven't even watched the show.
I loved your character.
Not even my character Beverly, my character Yvette, my integrity Yvette.
Yes.
How dare you? And you haven't watched the show?
Yeah.
Everything I've done in my life for us? And you are tossing me aside because of a 2-minute trailer for an animated TV show that you didn't watch?
Wow. Yeah. So I guess you didn't like the reaction.
I think the reaction was dumb, and I think it was uninformed and misinformed. And there's some people that I respect that were in that group, and I was like, "Wow, you too?" You didn't see it. And if you didn't see it, you also missed the episode, which was the 3rd episode, where we talked about little girls getting their period for the first time. It's the first time it's ever been discussed in the way we discuss it.
Yep.
We talk about the patriarchy and the over-sexualization of children, of little girls. Yep. We talk about over medicating kids. We talk about the scourge of artificial intelligence. We talk about what happens when power corrupts for people in government. We talk about all of these things. We talk about why drugs are in our community, and it's not us, by the way. Woo. So it's like, what? I'm so angry at the way they handled this show. You know, I said to people, I said, if you watch it and it's not your cup of tea, I understand. If we swung for the fences and we miss, you watch all 10 episodes, you still don't get it, we can have a conversation. I could try to help you understand what we were trying to do. But we're not going to go back and forth over a 2-minute trailer or 2 episodes. We're not doing that. We're not. We're not. I'm fresh out of F's to give.
Whew. Man, well, I think we've gotten plenty. What's up, Ty? Go ahead.
No, I did actually watch all of the episodes, Yvette. I might have been the first person on the panel to finish the entire series.
Don't pick yourself up. Calm your ass down.
No, that's facts. That's
the first day it came out.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
all right,
this is absolutely fact. But I wonder, do you feel as though if the title of it, which Good Times, we know what we grew up on with the original Good Times. Do you think that if the title were something different, it would have been received differently?
I mean, possibly, but I think if it was titled something, we may not even been on air. You know, we had the pedigree of Norman Lear, we had Seth MacFarlane, we had Steph Curry, we had people behind it because it was called Good Times. So if it wasn't called that, how many Black shows that they would let us talk about the things I just said? Just like we want to do a show that talks about how the systems in America have let Black people down. Who's saying, sure, let's do that? It's just, I don't think it would have made it. But that's a question really that's above my pay grade, because I came on once it was already titled Good Times. I came on once, the train had already left the station. So I really don't know, but I don't think it would have been made. And I want to say this too. If it's a one and done, I am very proud of what we did. And I'm very proud of what we tried to do. And like I said, we either landed the plane or we didn't. But I feel 100% proud of what we tried to show about what our people have been through and are still going through, and how we can make it better. And there's a line, I got to get a clip of it, where my character Beverly, after she has done everything she can to fix the projects and to fix their community, and she's still hitting a brick wall because of the systemic racism and the systems that benefit the government. A lot of times she's heartbroken by how she did so much and nothing changed. But the hope is that you get up and you fight another day. And that's how we feel every time we vote in this country. Like, it's not ever going to be exactly what we need it to be, but you vote in a way that you can live to fight another day. And that only happens if our democracy stays intact and we're not under a dictatorship or autocrat. And that's what we're facing. To segue a little bit, we can stay with Good Times, but I do want to say this. This is why I fight so hard for voters' rights and for people to actually get off their asses and go vote. There's a lot of people saying, what's the point? These are people that don't understand civics. The power of the purse, I'm going to try to do this as least wonky as possible. The power of the purse relies in Congress, which means no bill, no money gets spent in America unless the House and the Senate say this is the money we want to spend and this is how much we want to spend. Once they decide that, it then goes to the president, who can vote it in or veto it. He can pass it or veto it. And that's how something becomes a law and things get done. If you have a Congress, a House and a Senate that don't want to work with the president that's in power, which is what happened with Obama. We had Mitch McConnell, who was the senator in charge of the Senate at the time. He said, I am not going to let anything Obama does succeed, which means anything Obama said he wanted to do, if he couldn't get Congress to agree and to put it on his desk, he couldn't do anything about it. So there's a lot of things he wanted to do that he couldn't do. Biden is experiencing the same thing. All the things that he said he wanted to do, down to student loan forgiveness and things like that, he can't do it because the Congress is against him. So if people knew that, they would stop blaming the president. So this is where voting comes in. Guess how Congress people get in? By our local votes. You vote in your local elections for who's going to be your congressperson and your senator. That person then goes to Congress and decides things for the entire nation. So it does matter if you vote in every election. And it does matter if you vote Democrat in every election, if you're trying to get something done for people. If you're rich and just want money and power, then keep on voting Republican. But if you want things to be done for the lessers in our world, you got to vote Democrat. And you got to vote in every election Democrat.
And I will say Marseille Martin's character within the Good Times was that vocal piece. She was the one that was promoting all of that and basically letting everybody know that this is not going, because you did speak about the particular, I think it was a scene where you were running for president. You were right. You were running for, Beverly was running for president of the projects, and she was a little bit. She was like, she had got to that point where she was like, I don't know if this is tough. And Marseille, you had a conversation with her character, and you guys, like, in that moment, she was like, well, this is why this is happening. Like, this is, these are the things that are playing within our community. Yep. And I think her character was definitely one of the major spotlights within the Good Time story, because she is the one that spotlighted all of these things that were happening that caused these reactions.
And also Beverly's character, there's a part where she gets kidnapped, and she finds out how this city is run, from the mayor to the fire chief and the police chief. She finds out why crime pays for them. Yes. And so when you have peace, there's certain things in communities that don't line pockets and funds get cut. It always comes back to money. And we also have a story in there about how the search for power corrupts. My character, before she runs for Project President and starts getting trinkets from the city, she's one type of person. Then once she realizes, oh, you gonna name something after me? I get a building named after me. All of a sudden, it's all about her name being great more than it is about what she wants to do for the people. So we have a part of the show that veers off into how power corrupts if you don't stay focused on what really matters. Is it about you or is it about helping people? Which is it? She finds her way back, but that's another part of the story that is necessary. Yeah. So thank you. Jethro says decency 2024. Absolutely. So I mean, there's a lot of stories in there that, you know, I could get blue in the face trying to talk. I'm not trying to talk anybody into watching the show, but doggone it, don't talk about the show if you haven't watched it. That's all.
Can I just? Oh, sorry, Steph. Please.
Oh, I was just gonna say two things. One, when I posted that reel about how, you know, everybody has different comedy tastes, but it's goofy to talk about how no one should watch a show that you haven't seen. And I was in the comments. I was responding to everybody.
You were in there.
I kept seeing people say just the idea of, well, what are white people gonna think? And who cares? Right. Who cares? I want to see Black art that is made without consideration of the white gaze.
And this is like, the thing. But Steph, this is what's deep. They gonna think bad about us anyway. We can do a movie called Hidden Figures, and they still see us as animals. There was a girl yesterday protesting Palestine and protesting what's happening in Palestine, and there's a man on the side doing ape motions towards her.
Yeah.
So why do we care what they think of us? And I'm talking about the racist ones. There's lovely white people, but the racist white people are going to think horribly of us anyway. If the show, the cartoon Good Times never existed, they think we all live in the projects with roaches anyway. They think we all shoot each other and kill each other anyway.
No white person is watching the Good Times trailer and being like, you know what? I wasn't racist, but now I am.
It's crazy. It's all just too much. And all the different forms of entertainment that feature white people, they've never stopped to think, what will Black people or Latino people or Asian people think of us? They are allowed to be every type of human being because they understand that this white girl selling crack or this white girl selling her body or this white girl, whatever they think is objectionable, she's not me. And
that was the other thing.
Any image of us has to be all of us. And it's not true. Even a baby that can't exist. We're all crack dealing babies, I guess. It's just not. It's just crazy. And he doesn't deal crack; it's opiates. But okay.
I'm saying to people. So is Family Guy a terrible reflection of the white community? Do we need to boycott Family Guy because of how it makes white people look? And nobody had that opinion. Nobody had that concern. But for Black projects, there is an expectation amongst a lot of people that if it doesn't represent the whole culture in the best light at all times, we have to.
But Steph, people forget that the original Good Times, Black people hated it because we were in the projects. Then 5 years later, or 10 years later, they hated Cosby Show because it didn't show us realistic. They know Black doctors and lawyers married. You can't win.
You can't.
These same people are enjoying Power and P Valley and reality shows.
Tell them.
So tell me how this cartoon has to be all things to all people, but you can celebrate all the other forms of performance art with Black people. It just doesn't line up to me. It doesn't, and that's not me coming for P Valley or Power. I have friends that work on all those shows and I think they're great. But the point is, it's entertainment. It's not a documentary. So either we gonna cancel everything and we just gonna watch white walls, or we have to let people express what they want to express, how they want to express it, and hope that there's a message that uplifts us, which Good Times has.
I remember Boomerang too. Like people hated Boomerang because they were just like Black people as executives of a market. That's not realistic.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, real quick. Do you remember the backlash that Black Panther got for having an all-Black cast without white folks? Remember how mad they were when they just heard about it before they even learned about it?
Vince, then they got mad that there was one white person in it. Then the Black people got mad. Why white people? You can't win. You can't win.
It is an unwinnable situation, and I'm surprised to learn that the baby didn't actually say. That's good. It's opioids. What's going on, Steph?
Oh, I just wanted to call out real quick something in the comments that, you know, folks might have seen. This person's been blocked, but somebody said something about the Obama show got the LGBT agenda pass. Like, maybe you've never seen the show before, but like, we are very, very pro queer rights. We have queer people on the panel. Yeah. Like, if that's an issue for you, you're watching the wrong show. So,
yeah, let's make that clear. Yeah. Oh, let me point that out.
Yeah, I didn't want to say nothing because I'd have been cussing the whole time. I was like, let me not say nothing.
Let me point that out. If you don't mind, Yvette, let me just for a second. All right. For those that are watching this time, we are 100% pro-black, blackity black. All right. We are a supporter of LGBTQ rights, trans rights. We will definitely voice our opinions, which aren't always the same. But one thing we do not tolerate is hate towards any group. So if you are a member of somebody's group that does support hate, you are not welcome in this environment, point blank, period, full stop. Let us continue. Now, I will say this. I am curious also about your experience with the staff, the cast that you spoke about, because that is a star-studded cast. I mean, we've gotten past the point that we know that little baby Stewie does not represent all white babies. And so stop trying to make the baby
who tries to kill his mother like every other episode.
Right, yeah, like that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay, so but in this particular instance, you got a chance to work with this star-studded cast. I mean, you've got JB Smoove, who's like literally one of my favorite people, hilarious. Jay Farrell. Yeah. I mean, these are SNL like alumni. You know what I'm saying? You got the young lady who played in Blackish. Bro, just talk about this black excellence that you get an opportunity to work alongside, and give us some of the background there.
Yeah, let me say this. Cree Summer was our vocal director, so she was the one that was in the booth with us, putting us through our paces, and I got to steal so much from Cree because she is voiceover black royalty, but so voiceover royalty, not just black voiceover royalty. She is voiceover royalty, and she if you watch the menstruation episode, she's Princess Hoo Ha. So you can hear Cree's voice, and Cree is also a great Easter egg throughout the show. Cree pops up a lot. We have Gabrielle Dennis doing a great role in his, like I said, Tisha Campbell. Wanda Sykes, Rashida Sheeds is in this. It was a cornucopia of black talent, and we all came together to celebrate us and to share this message about we can do better, and this is what's stopping us from doing better, and it's not us. Again, the problem is not us. Now, there's some of us ain't doing right. That's an somebody ain't doing something great.
Everybody ain't gonna be right.
Right. But across the board in general, it's like I've been putting in my hashtags. Plymouth Rock landed on us. You know what I mean? We didn't start the fire. So let's be real about how we got where we are. But we all are happy to have done this show. We're happy to be together. We did the premiere. We got together, got to show it for the first time. I want to mention Slink Johnson as well, who voices Dalvin the baby. And again, Renata Shepard, our wonderful showrunner. And it's just, and one more thing about going back to Allison Faust and Act Your Age for a minute. Act Your Age, which was on Bounce, that people had a hard time finding, is a Black Golden Girls starring me, Kim Whitley, and Tisha Campbell. That's going to be coming to Netflix on May 22nd. So everybody that hated Good Times and the idea of Good Times, if you want to see black excellence that you can personally approve of, please show up to celebrate Act Your Age. And I look forward to that petition telling everybody to watch Act Your Age, because that should surely be exactly what you personally need. So May 22nd, Act Your Age, all episodes streaming on Netflix. Please start your think pieces now and talk about how great it is.
Come on, Yvette. What's up, Ty?
Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because you just brought it up, was last year when we had you on the show. I think you did the animation with My Dad's Bounty Hunter.
Yes.
And one of the things you spoke about was how you had to do the animation from your closet at home.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And now here we are, a year later, and you're back in the voiceover booth with other, now there's other. I don't know if this was one of those situations where everybody was like waiting their turn to go in the booth, or everybody was in the booth together, or what, but it, like, maybe you can speak to that, like, not having to, just be using your own energy to, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
to bounce, you know what I mean?
What's funny is before COVID, we all would go into the booth together, right? So COVID sent everybody to their closets, and home booths and all that. What's happened since COVID is it's kind of like the same kind of hybrid work model that people have. So sometimes you can go in the booth, sometimes you can do it from home, but I have yet to go back in the booth with people. So it's still you going into the booth by yourself. So this is a testament to how great voiceover actors are. And I'm not putting myself in there. I'm giving a love letter to all my other castmates and anyone else that does it.
I'll put you in there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
but you have to be able to act do your role without someone being there. Now, granted, if we're, in the case of Good Times, it's Cree Summer you're acting with. So Cree's going to do all the different voices and she's going to paint the picture. There's my girl. She's going to paint the picture for you. That's going to be amazing. But yeah, you're still kind of on your own. And I want to say one other thing about Cree. In the history of her career, from all the shows she's done to A Different World and all the other shows that she's done, she is beloved. You guys should have seen some of the messages people sent to Cree about Good Times. I was more mad about how they were talking to and about Cree than I even was about how they were doing me. It was disrespectful, it was rude, and it was our people. And I just was like, and again, over a show that they had not seen. So I just, I want to give my flowers to Cree, and I want to say how fabulous she is. And besides being the talented person she is, her character, her heart, her soul, her integrity is solid. She is a sister, and she loves the shit out of us. And she did not deserve anything she got either.
Steph, will you join me in giving flowers to Cree Summer as well? We would like to join Yvette.
Always.
And say, yo, look, hold up. Who that is talking about Cree Summers? Because you got to come see us. I don't know what you said, but we're going to find. Nah, we ain't going to do all that.
You ain't going to find out. The people probably.
Put me on the screen for a second.
You, Cree, we know. You all the way back from Different World and moving forward. We appreciate you, and I don't care what's going on. We love all that you've done for our community, even since Rugrats.
Mm-hmm. So I have you're gonna want to clip this. I have an unpopular opinion, and I'm just gonna say it very frankly. This entire Good Times controversy just reminded me that a lot of America is not smart. It's just not intelligent. We literally, like, this nation voted Donald Trump as president. There's a lot of dumb people out there. Let me add. I am not saying that if you didn't like Good Times, you're not smart, because we all have different tastes. But I am saying that if you are unable to grasp the metaphor and the way that systems are being explored, then you're not smart. Then you're not smart. If all you did was watch the trailer and take it at face value, if you didn't actually investigate and look at the full picture, that's just not intelligent behavior. So again, taste-wise, we're all going to like different things in comedy, but if you're not able to intellectually see beyond just the surface of what's happening in the show and understand, like Yvette so beautifully explained, the baby being a metaphor for the people that are thrown away, that are not cared for in our society, that person who we all know isn't making great choices, but we still love them and we're trying to figure out how to pull them back. We all have that person. If you can't see the layers to it, you need to think a little bit harder.
That's my girl. That's my girl right there.
Full stop. All right, listen, I have one. I didn't want to talk on Good Times. We actually made a conscious decision. We was like,
Vince, real quick. I want to hear what, because Yvette did want an opportunity to speak again before you went into that. She did ask to be put on the camera real quick. So I think.
Oh no, that was Steph. No, that was Steph. That was Steph. That was Steph.
Oh, I thought that was
Steph. No. I think I spoke all I needed.
Yeah. I think she's let it be known how she feels. I am curious though. There's one question. We do have Carl Jones was one of the original creators, I believe, or he was originally involved with the project, and he stepped off. Did that give you any pause, or did that make you like look at any other? Did anything?
I don't know the circumstances of why he left. I don't fully believe that the way he colored his exit was fair. I'll say that. It seemed like the backlash was looking backlashy, and he was like, let me just moonwalk on out of this situation as quickly as possible. And I think that it would have been more fair for him to admit what he provided. Because if I remember correctly, he's the one that came up with the baby that's dealing drugs. So you can moonwalk away, but you're gonna take Dalvin with you when you go. So that's all I have to say. I don't really know him personally. I don't have any beef with him as a human being. He's done nothing to me personally, but I felt like it really was very interesting when he chose to say about his involvement how he was like, not it. And then, but no, I don't have any, him leaving didn't affect me because Renata Shepherd was there. And I know her character and her heart. And I know how much she loves being from Chicago, how closely she worked with Norman Lear on this project, how she had Norman Lear's blessing. And she took what Carl created, and she made it what she felt would be, if you want to know who Renata is and where her heart is in regards to how this plays out, it's the menstruation episode. And that is a swing for the fences. But in her mind, this is important. A lot of girls don't even get to talk. And if you look at the clips we posted recently on Instagram, she and I, there are a lot of women chiming in with when they first had their first period, what that was like for them, the trauma that they had, how they wish this episode existed when they were a kid so that they could have, learned. And my character in there, Beverly, in that episode, is a lot of our mothers in the 70s and 80s. We didn't get taught how to manage it. And so a lot of us had to figure out how to manage it from what our friends were saying, what our cousins were saying. And we had bad experiences. And Renata wanted to find a humorous, irreverent way to put this in everyone's faces, women and men, so that girls and young boys can learn from it. So I hope that even if you watched it, if you're a young man or a boy who tuned in, I hope you didn't turn it off when you saw it was about periods, because you can learn a lot from the experience as well. And so, Renata being at the helm, I was ready to take the ride. And I knew that there was a risk because of how irreverent we knew the show would be. But I foolishly, thought that our people were smart enough to see it. And again, like I said, that they would at least wait to watch the entire piece before they made an opinion. Or as some of you said, like Bad Ty said, he said, I don't speak ill of my people. Like, there's a way to not like something and just not watch it.
Right.
How about you just don't watch it? There's a lot of shows I don't want to watch, but I don't go on a crusade to make sure no one else ever watches it. I just don't watch it.
But that's the thing, unfortunately, right now, though. That's like so for my husband is he is obsessed with YouTube. He watches YouTube whenever I'm not making him watch whatever I need to watch for the podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, and some of his YouTubers, that is their shtick. They'll watch a trailer or they'll watch a movie and they'll tell their entire audience not to watch it. And they won't watch it. They will not. And I'm like, because one person said something, you will not watch. That sounds so dumb. I'm like, what if you liked it? And I make him watch it, especially when they tell me, oh, I'm not. Your ass is gonna watch this because that man is not controlling over your body and your mind. Like that's stupid. So and that's funny because most of the time when I make him watch it, he was like, damn, that was actually pretty good. Like I wonder why they said that, because they make money off of saying, they make money off of bashing it and getting everyone else to not like it or like it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's their shtick. So unfortunately, the internet is ruining that for a lot of us too. You know what I'm saying? Because literally everything that comes out, oh, so-and-so said it was bad, I'm not watching that. Guess what you are going to watch? That.
Yep. I posted some comments of people who admitted, like, I wasn't going to watch it after the trailer, but you said I should give it a shot. I gave it a shot. I'm so glad I did.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that said that. And so it's just, listen, I'm 22 years into my career. If this is the first and the worst thing that's ever happened to me, I will survive it. I'm not, my feelings aren't wrapped up in things like that. I just was surprised that people questioned me.
No,
my integrity. Yeah. I was like, I
watched it because you were in it. That's amazing. I was like, hey, we're putting this on the list. It's coming out. Yvette's in this. As soon as this drops, we have to watch it.
And I want to say this too. Yes, I don't take. I'm doing okay financially.
No, I mean,
I don't have to take a job to make money. I also have a degree. I got a journalism degree. I got lots of lanes. I can host a show. I can do other voiceover. I can go work at McDonald's on fries before I would sell out my people. So people coming for me like I need a check. Y'all don't know me at all. You don't know me at all. And I'm really annoyed when people speak about me or for me and they don't know me. It ain't never about money for me. Ever.
I love when
hold on, Ty, real quick. Since we just learned Yvette can host a show and she ain't looking for money, could you host our show? I don't have to be here.
That was not subtle.
ain't no money in it, but you know.
You beat me to it. I was like, host the show. When you host that show, you need a co-host.
Listen, am I here? Am I here on May the 4th hanging with y'all?
Hey, yes,
hello.
Y'all, Yvette got.
Go Ty. I got rid of him. He could say what he wanted to say. Go Ty. Go Ty.
It's that internet bill. He ain't pay that internet bill.
No, I don't even remember.
I will say like that, and that's the thing that I always say, like, as a person that reviews things, like there are things that I don't like, there are things that I love, and people always say like, oh, I'm not gonna watch this because you didn't like it, or oh, you didn't like. I'm not always say like, that's my opinion. I didn't like something, or I love something, but you may feel something different. That's why I always say, watch it yourself, and then when you watch it, come back and tell me how you felt, so we can have a discussion. That's the great thing about movies, art, video games, comics, and everything like that.
It's all opinion.
It's all opinion based. There's nothing objective about art. It's all subjective. And the great thing is you can have a conversation about it. But a lot of times people don't know how to have respectful conversation about something. Like people like, oh, I didn't like this. And they feel like it's a personal attack against their own self-worth. So people get real vitriolic when it comes to stuff like that. It's just like, calm down, like calm thy tits. It's just art. Like it's not that serious.
It's just art.
You know the thing about that, Mike.
Go ahead, Ty.
Good. All right.
And then
so I just wanted to say this to Michael's point. One of the things that I've said on the show before is being keyboard warriors and being behind a screen give you a level of comfort that just didn't come from anywhere. It did when I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, people were still getting punched in the face. You were very careful about your wording and watch your mouth. Now, this era of social media has given people this false sense of security, and you see it on display every time. This is why I stay off of social media. There have been people that make comments about me. I never address them because I know better. Like one of the things about it is I know me.
Yep.
And I know people when I know cowards when I see them, when I hear them. So I don't address them. I don't even speak to them because I know all you're looking for is an opportunity to showcase your ignorance. And this is always going to be the case when social media is in play. And so for those people that have that vitriol and everything towards individuals, it is because they know and they feel that they are untouchable. And so that is until we go back to the days of people getting punched in their face. This is what we're gonna have to deal with. This is what we're gonna have to deal with. So
we need a punch him in the face
yes.
on our phones. Yes. Like that'd be no. Steph, you had something, please.
Yes, if you look at the science of how rising internet usage has impacted our brains, it has literally made people's attention spans shorter. We live in a headline culture where people read a tweet and they're like, oh, that's it. That's the story. That's the conclusion. I won't dive into it because we could talk about that for an hour. But I will just say this feels very analogous to people making some conclusions about Amanda Seales, who I'm a huge fan of, and then major media outlets writing whole think pieces based off of a couple people's tweets. And then she has this moment to actually share her side of the story and things that really happened. And now you see all these people like, oh, I see her totally differently. I didn't know that. Yeah, because you didn't do the research, because you weren't really paying attention. You were reading a headline or a tweet and making a conclusion about that. And I would love to see all people, but especially Black people, because I hold us to a higher standard, doing more independent critical thinking and investigating before we jump to conclusions about things. And I will say one of the things that is very clear and obvious if you do any looking into Miss Yvette is that she's not one of those celebrities who just does projects for Black people but doesn't actually support the culture. She does projects for Black people and also is an activist, also is out there doing the work and talking to the people and leading the charge. And so I would love to talk a little bit more about your recent work at the White House and the way that you've been not just talking the talk, but walking the walk for us.
Thank you. I Oh, I hate that screen grab. That's rough.
That's
My God. Yeah. So I went to Washington, D.C. to go to Congress and the White House with the Creative Coalition. It's like the arts advocacy arm of the industry. And so every year we take a delegation and we go and speak to Congress people. We go into their offices and sit with them for about 30 minutes at a time and talk about why it's important, why the arts are important in schools and just in general, because we're trying to get the National Endowment of the Arts funded every year. Every year, the Republicans try to zero out. And the National Endowment of Arts are used, and it is used in every city to do things like put on plays or to bring a ballet company to a certain city. It also helps put arts in schools, music and drama into schools. If kids were singing and dancing about it, maybe they wouldn't be shooting about it. That's what I've been saying. So that's the first part of what I did. But then we also have a caregiving arm. We do an initiative every year with the Creative Coalition, and I'm the chair of the Commission on Caregiving. And so we honored some caregivers at the gala that we have at the end of our trip. So I went there. We got to go to the White House. We got a surprise visit from President Biden, which was amazing. And then we got to, to advocate for the arts. And I want to say one other thing about voting. It's important to not be a one issue voter. You do not like the president. You do not have to like everything the president says or does. I know that there are some things going on that he's done that people are not happy with right now. What I want you to understand about what's happening in Israel and Gaza is every American president is going to fund Israel. That's what every American president does. It's above our pay grade why they've made the deal that they're going to do that, but that's what they do. So this man funding Israel is part of what a president has to do, right? Also with the Congress. Again, power of the purse is with the Congress. Yeah. The beautiful thing about where we are in this world is that if you don't like it, and most of us don't, you can speak up about not liking it. Once you have a president that is no longer into democracy, it's not his thing, a president that prefers being a dictator, we will no longer be able to say, we hate that you're doing this, whatever that this is for you, right? Exactly. So you want to vote in a way that allows you to continue to fight the good fight for what you want. And you also, guess what? You can run for office. So if you don't like what anybody's doing, run for office. Yeah. Get your platform up and get with an organization like Emily's List, which I'm also on the board for. They help Democratic pro-choice women run and win offices. Run for office and change everything because you know best. But until you do those two things, either vote for democracy or run. If you're not voting, if you don't think voting matters, shut up. Because it all begins with our vote. It all begins with our vote.
I don't want to cut her off because I want to let her cook because she is cooking a full meal, and I want that meal. But I just want to add to that because, and not to get too deep, because we do try intentionally to stay away from politics because it gets you so into that mode, right? But I do want to touch this one topic, and not to delve into it, but to touch, as you said, if you're a single issue voter, if you think that withholding your vote, you're hurting the president. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life.
They're hurting you. And this is it, Vince. This is it too. Everyone that's upset about what's happening over in the Middle East, do you think the other person's going to do better? You really think the other person cares about what's happening in Gaza? He wants to steamboat it and make a waterfront property over there. He doesn't care about those people.
If you think Genosha was bad, wait to see what all right, that's an X-Men reference. You probably not in on that, but my point is there are more things than just that one issue. Okay. Absolutely. So for those of y'all that are rightfully, justifiably fighting for the right of Gazans to live, for the right of kids to not be a part of the human shields that Hamas is making them into, I understand you being upset. I even understand, as I'm happy that I'm gonna just say it out loud. I'm a registered Democrat. I love that our party holds ourselves accountable. Yep. Okay, but what I don't like is trying to make it an ultimatum for the president because he's gonna be all right. If he loses the election,
he's gonna be fine. Right. Every white person, especially every white male, will be just fine. You gonna hold your vote? Will you be okay? Because I've been telling people, y'all can be upset now, but you're going to be watching Dear Leader videos in a camp if you don't vote for Biden.
Yes, literally, this guy's talking about making encampments for people that look like immigrants, not just immigrants. If you look, what does that mean? Because what do you define as the appearance of an immigrant? I'm sorry.
But he also said that he now wants immunity for police officers, which means whatever they do to you, and guess where else they have immunity? Russia. Anything they do for Putin is fine. He wants to be able to shoot anybody and be okay. Y'all better vote for Biden and keep it moving and fight later. Fight it all later when you still can fight it, because we have a democracy.
Thank you. I didn't want to. I wanted to be said that. Listen, I know there's people in this audience that are watching that may go with one way with the fence, that are one side or the other. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is,
Vince, even if you're going the other way, there's something that said when they came for the black people, I didn't say nothing. When they came for the Latinos, I didn't say nothing. When they came for the gays, I didn't say nothing. Guess what? They gonna come for you too. So just because he hasn't pulled your ticket yet, don't think that other guy has any love for you. He has love for himself. So you need to vote for Biden, because he gonna come for you. The other one gonna come for you eventually.
And I don't like how they
people to torment. You gonna be next.
He's fearing people. He's fear-mongering people into supporting him. I saw what Bill Barr, this dude, he had a whole "don't vote for this guy" campaign. Now he's so afraid. And you know, Marco Rubio, who's down here in Florida. You know what? Sorry.
All right, let's move on.
So
I'm sorry.
I want to highlight one of the things you just mentioned.
I'm not sorry, but this ain't the place for it.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. Come on.
In talking about your activism, Yvette, you mentioned that you're passionate about creating arts programs and sharing the arts with kids. And in the words of another one of my favorite actresses, Keke Palmer, I am a mother. So I would love to hear a little bit more about some of the things you've done recently for the kids. I know that you were on one of our favorite streets recently.
I was. Listen, one of my biggest dreams in life was to do enough in my life to be invited to Sesame Street for any reason. If it was to come to sweep up the street, I'd have been there to sweep it up. I get to be a part of something that I'm not allowed to speak about yet, but I got to spend 3 days with all of the puppeteers and the creators and the crew at Sesame Street. And it was the most magical experience of my entire life. And I hosted Star Wars Celebration. I hosted Star Wars Celebration one year, and Sesame Street even trumped that, because it is, first of all, puppeteers are so unsung. These people are operating these puppets with their hand up. They're looking down, looking at a monitor. Their bodies are contorted the entire time. They are funny. They're irreverent. They're silly. They're caring. They are just magic. There's one puppeteer that works Elmo and who was the other one he was doing at the same time? Doggone it. Elmo and one of the chickens, but he had Elmo on one hand and one of the chickens, and he's basically talking as each of them. His brain had to split, and people, the babies that were on the show were having conversations with him, and he's having conversations with the kids, looking at the monitor, keeping each of their eye lines with the It's amazing what puppeteers can do. So you're going to love what we did. It's coming up this fall and then next spring. And I got to work with just about every Muppet on Sesame Street. So it's going to be amazing.
Who's your favorite?
Gonzo and Grover are my two favorites.
Man.
Yes.
Yes, I have no inside knowledge. You guys told me nothing about what happens on her Sesame Street appearance. But I did recently see they did a special on. There's a little black girl puppet. They did a thing about Wash Day. So I'm just saying, I'm expecting Black Girl Magic. I'm expecting it.
What I got to do, I don't know. I even got to puppeteer. They let me puppeteer, and they said that I might be the first guest on Sesame Street that's ever been allowed, not allowed, but it was ever puppeteered. It's not like they don't let you, but I might have been the only one that wanted to. I don't know. So I got to actually puppeteer. So it was a life-changing experience for me.
Cool. Nah. Cut.
Did you get to sing? Did you sing?
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah. You know what? I sang in a video behind the scenes that I'm going to post once what we did is out and I can post it. But I didn't. I don't think I. Oh no, I did sing on the show. I did sing on the show. I did on what we did. I did sing in one of them. You're right.
Look at that side.
I did.
What do you see? BUSSTOP. Yes, that's a bus stop.
How much you love Sesame Street.
Can you please reenact you puppeteering.
Like, it's hard. I mean, it's just I can't do it without the puppet, but there's something, the thing that's deep, that's hard about it, not hard, but is you have to learn how to do, is there is a way to hold your puppet where the eyes look in the camera. And so while you're puppeteering, you're looking down at the monitor and they'll go to the left, to the right, and you're doing this. And then you can see the sweet spot when it looks like the puppet is actually looking at the camera. And they can do it instinctively. And the other thing I learned, there are certain puppets, Muppets, Cookie Monster and Ernie in particular, that have hands that move. Bert is on sticks. So one person can operate Bert because the hand is here and then they hold two sticks which move the hands. But Ernie and Cookie Monster both have hands. So one puppeteer is working the hand and one hand, and then another puppeteer is working the other hand. And these puppeteers know, like when Cookie always does this with his hands, right?
Yes.
So if a puppeteer is doing Cookie, they have to know how to do this. They have to remember to do that. Where Ernie is more this. His hands go like this. So if you're coming in to do Ernie, you have to remember how Ernie does his hands. So you're not doing this while the other puppeteer is doing this. It's just amazing how they do it. I'm so in love with puppeteers. I could just they're so great.
Oh my goodness, Sesame Street canon.
So Yvette, does your appreciation for what they do come from your actual, you actually doing it, or is it because when I hear you talk about them, like you and saying like the intricacies of that go into it, and then I tried it, and it's like, now I have this great appreciation.
No, for what they do. I've always loved puppeteers. I'm a nerd about a lot of things. Like I'm a nerd about Legos. I'm a nerd about Muppets. I'm a nerd about puppeteering. I just love it. And even as a kid, I loved it. I had a Big Bird puppet when I was 7. My 7th birthday party, I had a picture of me holding my Big Bird puppet. So I've always loved puppeteering. And I got to see them. I'm gonna find it. I got to I fell in love with puppeteers firsthand when we did the community episode with the puppeteers. And when everyone else was going to craft services and going to lunch, I stayed with them to watch them work because it's just magic what they do. So getting to actually go to Sesame Street and see it up close again, and to get to do it with them egging me on, like, okay, Yvette, here, do this. And I just it's just magic. It's just magic.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So I hate that we are running out of time because I think it's safe to say that every single one of us is a huge Yvette Nicole Brown stan. And we love you guys for hours. But one of us on this panel has actually had the pleasure of meeting and hanging out with you in person. So I would love to hear a little bit more about that event and that story.
Who might that be?
It's Michael. Tell him about this our time.
So this past weekend, why my camera all blurry all of a sudden? What are we doing? There we go.
It's probably because
use the force.
But this past weekend, Disney hosted 80 Black creators, content creators for what's called the Disney Power of Joy event. First day, we got to spend the time with like a bunch of Black movers and shakers within Disney. Yvette Nicole Brown was one of them, and I actually wanted to ask, how did you get involved with that? And then the second day, we got to spend it at Disneyland. It was my first time at Disneyland, so I had the time. I had the time of my life. That's where I had my birth of my daughter, Beyonce.
Oh, it's so great.
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Get out of here.
That's awesome. That's dope.
Yeah, I had a great time. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Yvette, is how did you get involved in Disney Power of Joy?
Well, I've been in the Disney family for a while. I've done, Disenchanted. I'm in Inside Out 2 doing a voice. I was on Big Shot. I hosted Big Fib. I've been, and then also I was the only host of the Disney Plus launch. When we launched Disney Plus, I was the one going, hey guys, this is a great new thing.
Wow.
And also, as I said, I was the only host of Star Wars Day, Star Wars Celebration rather. I think 2 years ago, I was the only host of that. So I've been in their stable of talent, and I also judge Masquerade, which is this great Disney cosplay thing that they do every year at D23. So you'll get to see that, Michael, when you come. So I've already been like a part of that family. And so when they were doing this for us, I got a call and he's like, you want to host it? I was like, absolutely. So I got to basically be the person to usher all of you guys into all the new stuff that's coming in television and film, and the cruise line and all of that stuff for Disney. So it was great. It was just a call and a simple yes, the easiest yes ever.
Michael, what did you do when you first ran into you? Like, or was you like, hey, would you?
No, as soon as she came out, was just like, hey guys, I just wanted. I was like, oh my god, I didn't know she was gonna be here. Hold up, my hair look good. Like, let me make sure. I was like, I'm getting a picture. I'm getting her to say, welcome to my station. Like,
absolutely.
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah, I just popped out to say hi because they were all out there getting their coffee and stuff. And I love people. I really do. And so I was so excited because I knew so many of you and follow a lot of you. I was like, I want to get out there and meet them. So I just kind of popped out to say hi and was really surprised that everybody was happy to see me. I was
follow me next.
I will, baby. I'm always surprised that people know who I am. It just always blows my mind. So the fact that they were happy to see me as I was to see them was really a nice surprise.
And definitely watch Inside Out, guys, because she's in it. And
I'm in it.
We got to see the first 35 minutes. I was already crying in that first 35 minutes. Like, that movie had me messed up. The first 35, I was already crying.
Yeah, it's really a special movie.
Steph.
Okay. I know we're wrapping. Can we just maybe do a quick lightning round and just give Miss Yvette her flowers? Just everybody say a little something before we go. I know the internet can be a horrible place, and I just want to remind you, sis, that we see you and we love you and we see your heart for Black people and we see your activism. And unfortunately, sometimes the worst voices are the loudest ones, and the people who love you and see you and appreciate you are sitting back like, well, that's messed up. But thinking the good things and how much they love you, but not writing paragraphs about it. So I just want to remind you and just lift you up real quick. Just like all those creators were excited to see you and know who you are and love you and admire you, there are so many millions of people who feel that way also and just don't get on a podcast and say it to you. But this is what so much of the culture feels.
Thank you.
Amen. I will definitely second that. And I can say it's crazy that you had that feeling like, oh, they want to see me. Like, are you nuts? Like, do you know like what you represent as a culture? And dare I say, like, you're right now emerging as the queen of the blurs, because like the blurred sphere, Michael, you can attest to this, is like emerging now. It's finally coming from behind the scenes and is entering into the mainstream. And you have kind of helped usher in that mainstream element. So I just want to thank you for being not only as big of a influencer as you are, but still, as you said in one of your appearances, being willing to be like, look, yeah, I will use my influence to bring others up to the table. Like, that's the whole objective for it. So I just want to big you up for being so dope, so well-rounded, even though you do the green lightsaber thing and I'm a Sith Lord, I'm it's all good, I ain't gonna trip on it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also happy to see how well Tony has progressed next time we discuss and how much he's talked about. Because we didn't get to talk about, we're running low on time, and I didn't even get a chance to talk to you about how dope Michonne is and Denai and you all having your little your girl side chat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still want to know what that's about if we have a couple minutes.
I'll get it in quickly at the end.
Okay, yeah, please. So I want to see that much. Anyway.
The one thing that I wanted to say really quick to piggyback off of what Steph said about giving you your flowers, the thing that attracted me to you and why I followed your work was seeing you outside of just the acting gig and seeing you in interviews and just your energy and spirit and the authenticity that you bring to everything that you do. And that's what connected me to you. That's what made me go, oh, this is a person that I need to follow. It wasn't so much the work. It was about who you are as a person. And so I just wanted to say thank you for being you. Thank you. I appreciate you and everything that you do. So
thank you.
Well, look, I don't know if we have to have everybody go around and grab the microphone. We can all slide in Yvette's DMs.
Excuse me.
I just want to make it awkward.
No. You're not going to say your piece and shut us up. That's not how that's going to work. Let's stop that right there. Let me go ahead and also speak to one of the things that I find it's so beautiful about you is the authenticity in which you it shines through. So like one of the things that I feel like is I'm a very good judge of character, and every time you've come on this show, you've made us feel better about ourselves just from the things that you have said, just from the things that you have imbued to us. Whenever we felt down, you've taken that moment and stopped completely whatever it was that was going on to address our emotional states, our mental states. Those things are what makes a person pure of heart. And that in itself is why I definitely love you so much as an individual, as a person, as a Black woman, as a friend. Like this, that I can't say it enough. We love you, and we're thankful that you come in and you do what you do with us for as long as you do it.
Thank you, brother.
I thought he was going to say, and that is why I am throwing my support behind you.
Look. If she ever runs, I will absolutely do so.
What do you think about that, Yvette? Is there a future in politics? You're so political.
I don't know.
You're involved, but you're not running.
I mean, I've said this before. I used to think you had to be super smart to do it, and I didn't think I was smart enough. Now we know. So if God told me to do it, I would run for something. I could see maybe a congressperson or something, maybe for the House or something. But I don't. That's not me announcing anything. I got a lot on my plate right now with Dad, and planning a wedding and all this stuff. But maybe one day.
All right. So just in case, we're going to go ahead and put our addresses in the DMs so you know where to send those invitations. You know what I'm saying? We'll pull up virtually. All right. We don't have to be there. Just put a camera there.
Do we have time to talk about Deny right quick? And
absolutely. Yeah, we got a couple minutes. We're down to 5.
Let me get this in. So The Ones Who Live is one of my favorite Walking Dead spinoffs. I love so many of them. I love the Daryl one too. I love all of them really. But when it was coming out, I reached out to Deny and Scott Gimple, who's the creator. And I was like, is there a way that we can do like a Instagram live or something after the show? Because I'd love to talk about it. And we came up with the idea of doing this little Q&A with Deny. And so Deny was like, yes, come to the house. We're going to sit down and we'll talk. So that was me just wanting to give them flowers after the episodes and talk about the episodes. And we ended up getting like two little videos, I mean 2 or 3 videos talking about the show. So that was organic and me just loving the show and reaching out to my friends. And that's how it came to be.
Is it hard to sit next to Deny and not ask her about being a part of Dora Milaje? Like, how do you not talk about?
She's my friend. She's my actual friend. So I've fangirled out with her, and she's like, "All right, Yvette, like that's enough." Like she'll let me get it in. I can get in a good 3 minutes of a girl. Remember that time when you did this and when you took this sword, and then so she lets me do it for like 3 minutes, and she's like, "Oh, come on back." So
I couldn't even call her Deny. She's Michonne to me. Like she's Okoye. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't call her by her name. Like she would have to be so mad at me.
I've been blessed and it really the grace of God that I've been able to meet so many of my heroes. I love CeCe Winans. I love Janet Jackson. Cree Summer is big in my world. So I'm getting used to being around people that I absolutely adore and not losing my mind. I'm not great at it, but I'm getting better at it. And they're also gracious that they understand that they've affected us. They understand, our Black heroes have Black heroes. So they understand what it's like to be face to face with someone that mattered in your life, and they graciously allow us to, have a moment.
Oh, if I met Janet Jackson, I would pass out.
Man, I cried like a baby when I met Janet Jackson. It's like a baby. It's on camera, me crying like a baby.
I think that's all of us. If you look at our progression from the first time you were on the show, when I literally just sat here like this the whole time, to being able to have a conversation.
We're buddies now. We text each other. We chop it up.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool. Well, listen, I hope you give us a few minutes after the show to say a couple things, but it's kind of a little tradition before, and the only reason we end is because we got a 2-hour slot before we had to end it. Right. But for you to give us like a little shout out, you know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. It's kind of been our little thing. So whenever you're ready, you want to give us a face.
You want Yoda?
No, Yoda's that's perfect. No, that's perfect.
Okay, so what do you want me to say?
I don't know, guys. What should she say? The first time she said, "I love the new Blurred Order." What should she say?
Whatever you feel. I just
say what comes naturally.
Make it organic.
Yeah. Be your authentic self.
Okay. The new Blurred Order is one of my favorite places to visit. I hope you'll join us next time.
It never gets old. It Yo, all right. Well, listen. On behalf of myself, as well as Yaz, my homegirl Nolly, who is kind of our moderator for this show, Word Nerd Steph, Bad Tie, Michael, Black Gay Comic Geek, as well as those who aren't here. Tiffy, we see you. Omar, we see you. Kev, Tyrone, we see you. But most of all, the illustrious, none other than Miss Yvette Nicole Brown. We want to tell everybody out there in the world to be your authentic self, because if you ain't being yourself, you're being fake. And in all things, as we always say, if you a geek, even if you ain't as much of a geek as you will be after you get married, go ahead and let that flag fly.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10P Wayne. All niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud, but we got no stains. Cold ass lizard with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know.